Now, when we look at the century that we're in, the 21st century, we believe that the world will be defined by what happens in Africa.
Pan-African lifestyle.
Welcome to Pan-African Lifestyle, where we rep the motherland. We post content regularly and invite you to subscribe and share, if you're a pal. That's a Pan-African lifestyler.
We talk about developing leaders for the African century. Now, why do we talk about the African century? One of the things we believe is that if we look back to the last 1,000 years, the millennia that has just ended, the first 700 years was defined by what happened in Europe, North America, when the Renaissance period happened and lots of scientific innovations emerged and the Industrial Revolution happened and a lot of progress in the world was driven by what happened in those economies. And then when we look at 100 years ago, the last century, a lot of the progress that we saw in the world was defined by what happened in Asia. That's when we saw the rise of countries like Japan and Malaysia and Singapore, and more recently, China and India and so forth. And that really defined where the world went. Now, when we look at the century that we're in, the 21st century, we believe that the world will be defined by what happens in Africa. And this is because by the end of the century, 40% of the world's population will be African. And so where Africa goes is where the world will go. And even more interesting is that by 2035, which is less than 6,000 days from today, Africa will have the largest workforce in the world. 1 billion people who will be of working age on this continent, the largest, larger than China, larger than India. And so this is why we believe that this is going to be the African century. The only question is, will it be a good century or a bad century? And we believe that only by applying our greatest resource, which is not the gold and the diamonds and the oil that we have, but our minds and our people, will we ensure that this becomes a great century for the entire world. And so this is really the vision, to develop leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators, who are going to apply their minds with passion and with ingenuity to address Africa's greatest challenges and capture its greatest opportunities. People who are going to make sure that every African in this century has good healthcare, good education, good infrastructure, good governance, and most importantly, jobs. As they go through this journey, as they move on, they're going to need perseverance, because the job of leadership is hard. Do hard things. As the 1% of the 1%, their job is not to solve small problems. The job is to solve our continent's biggest problems. And in doing that, they're going to face many challenges. They're going to have many ups and downs. What is going to take them through is perseverance. And so, to support each other, this is what leadership is about. It's about doing those hard things and continuing even when you have obstacles that seem impossible. We talk about developing leaders for Africa, leaders who will ensure that the 1 billion people that will need jobs in less than 6,000 days from now will actually be employed and will have healthcare and education and all these things that we believe they need. And that's the task that we have set. If we think about the fight that we're going to, we're entering into one of the greatest struggles that we have ever had as a continent in the next 6,000 days. And in that battle, they are the admirals and the generals that are going through. They're not the foot soldiers, they're the admirals and the generals. So they need to think big and to be able to have significant impact on the continent. The expectations are very high, and we're looking forward to you living up to them. But the good news is that you learn leadership best through practice. It's not a theoretical exercise, because there's a difference between what you want and what you need. Muscle to go out and do the much harder things that you're going to have to do as we go out into this battle. Go out and serve our beloved continent, bring peace and prosperity to Africa.
Thanks for tuning in to Pan-African Lifestyle. Share your thoughts in the comments section and follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Pan-African Lifestyle to be inspired. For awesome pal merch, check out panafricanlifestyle.com/shop. Keep repping the motherland.
Pan-African lifestyle.